Okay. By the way, if anybody's curious, we're recording these, so they're all going to go up on like YouTube eventually. So, yeah. Spike, you're going to look at
You're out of camera.
We're gonna
No, back in camera.
There you go.
Welcome back, my winning team.
Good luck.
Look.
Over here we have. How about skate or die? Okay. How about that? Then we'll get
I'm not skating.
and we got Freelancer over here, right?
Just one freelancer.
Just one.
We are a collective.
Good game. Play.
Oh. Is that a PS2 game?
What?
Freelancer.
Okay. Go ahead and do the buzzers again, and tell me who you are again. Cubeface is back. Welcome back. Xtremelampshade with the longest name of the tournament so far.
And the
Do I get a
awesomest
present?
T-shirt.
You just get a lot of letters written in the box.
LCC.
LCC with the shortest nickname.
There you go.
Dime.
And Dime is back. Welcome back, guys.
Ethan.
Ethan's back.
Alex.
You changed it up.
Can't change your name mid-tournament.
I think you're stuck with Chris.
Chris isn't my name now.
Well, that's your fault. Okay. So this is the other semifinal game to find out who will get killed by PlayStation Nation in the grand finals.
Yeah.
No, wait, let's go to Kev.
Right, dude.
All right, are we all ready?
Yep.
All right, this is packet 6. That means it's game number 6.
No,
Wait,
this is
wait.
spot.
Do these? Is there like some? Do they get harder second round or something like that?
Not
or?
necessarily, no.
Okay.
They might, but I don't know how hard
Okay.
they are. I just look at the answer and I'm like, dang, that's going to be hard. Okay, here we go. Toss up 1. You can interrupt this character's soccer game with 2 kids by kicking the ball at him. It's not the Venus Gospel, but this character's ultimate weapon is most powerful when his current MP is the same as his max MP. Soon after learning that his father was petrified by poisoned arrows when he faced the Gi tribe.
Red 13.
15 points, you're on the board. Toss up 2. One item in this game is obtained by defeating 3 bandit sisters. By using a lighter, a stick, and a newspaper, the protagonist of this game can scare off a swarm of bees infesting a campsite. Early in this game, the protagonist deals with a busted gas water heater. The protagonist of this game discovers a balloon sent by an inhabitant of Yumland and journeys to a booby-trapped castle in Nitopia. Later in this game, it is revealed that a bitter boy whose parents died in a plane crash named Sean Obihiro is the true leader of a terrorist organization. The Gospel perpetrates net crime in this game, which reduced the maximum chip slots from 15 to 10. For 10 points, name this GBA game, which continues the adventures of Lan and his net navvy. No penalty, that's wrong. Over here?
Mega Man Battle Network 2.
That's what I wanted to do.
Hell yeah! On the board.
What a round.
Keyword which continues.
Yes, precisely.
On the board.
Never played a
Toss
Battle
up
Network
3.
game before.
Same.
Toss up 3. Shh. Here we go. At the edge of the map in the last mission of this sequence, there are, for some reason, 3 wildly improbable elite turtle ships. The penultimate mission in this sequence, the Boiling Lake, allows you to bring horses and carts full of gunpowder to an area set off with torches to train cavalry and bombards, 2 units normally unavailable to the faction you control. 4 monasteries must be captured with eagle warriors in its first mission, and a wonder must be destroyed on La Noche Triste. The Tlaxcalans are a continual nuisance in this campaign, which ahistorically ends with the expulsion of the Spanish. For 10 points, name this campaign from Age of Empires 2, The Conquerors, in which you control forces loyal to Montezuma.
Aztecs?
Yep, that's right.
Wow. Nice.
I had it a long time ago, but I just wasn't sure. Really wasn't sure. Yeah.
Okay, toss up 4. An ending to this game shows one of its characters lounging on a pool chair before a clapperboard hits, and we're reminded that he's a struggling actor. One character in this game can't crouch down, but he can deflect fireballs with his mace. One character in this game is a Tibetan warrior monk who can use the laser blade and wind kick. The mega corporation Ultratech sponsors this game's namesake tournament, which is attended by the Native American chief Thunder, the skeleton...
Killer Instinct?
Yep.
Wow, nice.
10 points.
Yep.
Toss up 5. The sentence "Bitte, wo ist die Toiletten?" is the correct answer to a question asking if this character can speak German. In the game that introduces him, this character travels in an underwater glass bubble vessel in a deceptively named pod race. This character collects golden udders after entering his subconscious upon being sent into a coma by a flying cow.
Earthworm Jim.
Earthworm Jim for 15. You got it.
Here we go, guys. Here we go. Rename. Come on now. Get in there. But don't answer if it's wrong.
great. I just hear Spike's voice orbiting.
Toss up 6. Toss up 6. One character in this game does 35 minutes of cardio, then upper torso, then abs. 2 kinds of creatures in this game can split into 18 smaller counterparts. Those spikes don't harm the ugly kind, but do cause the beautiful kind to pop. Beating the leap hole level in this game gives you access to the useful whistle. The launch of Product Z in this game turns things into 3D, leading the player to seek tech support in the information superhighway, the stomping grounds of the spam bot Mom. This game's story is told through messages left behind by the telescope operator, formerly the sign painter. Its objective is to reach pipes by forming bridges with balls of the title substance. For 10 points, name this indie puzzle game by 2D Boy. Nobody? Audience, what do you think?
Flubber. What?
I like that. It's better than the answer. World of Goo. I've never...
I've played it.
I've heard of it, but I've never
Alright,
played it.
There's far
everybody,
too much lore there.
everybody pretending like...
I've actually played the
you
game.
played it?
Yeah, it's pretty.
I've
Okay.
heard of it, that's it, though.
Alright. Here we go. Toss up 7. This game's optional missions, Playing with Fire and Monkey Business, require the player to grab bananas quickly. Retro Racer, Astrolander, and Anaconda can be played within this game by picking up the appropriate cartridges in its levels. In one of its missions, you kill a hacker loyal to Sadako. Wikipedia notes that this game, like GoldenEye 007, starts off on a Siberian dam, and it later jumps between settings like 2019 Neo Tokyo, 1853 Wild West, and 2300 is incorrect for -5. I'll finish the question. And 2315 Robot Factory as the protagonist gathers crystals as his friend Corporal Hart holds the bridge. For 10 points, name this game, which introduces Sergeant Cortez, a free radical design and Eidos sequel to a shooter about dimension-twisting aliens.
Is it Time Splitters 2?
Yes, you did.
You get the best ones, countdown.
I mean, he gave me the answer.
You just keep waiting for sequel and it works.
Yeah.
Told me.
What is strat? What is strat?
Right.
All right, toss
Oh,
up
man.
8.
Okay, here we go.
Toss up 8. The objective of one mission in this game is to kill the Gold Dragon Queen. A seemingly daunting mission in this game, Song of the Father, can easily be cheesed by equipping the Spellbinder's hat and casting Dimension Door. The Conflux was added in this game's expansion Armageddon's Blade. By putting together the puzzle map in this game, you can find the location of the Grail. One side in this game commands Manticores, Minotaurs, and the annoying Beholders. All of those units have an up...
Heroes of Might and Magic?
I can't take that, no. -5. Let's see. One side in this game commands Manticores, Minotaurs, and the annoying Beholders. All of those units have an upgraded counterpart. Gems and sulfur are needed for advanced buildings in this game, whose factions include the Rampart, Necropolis, and Castle. For 10 points, name this 1999 game, the best in a series of turn-based...
Heroes of Might and Magic 3.
Yes. We're getting stuck on the sequels.
Yeah.
in this
They,
round.
they turned
Got you
around
back.
on us. Yeah.
I didn't know which one to pick.
I
Yeah.
run Time Splitters feature for
Three is
a
the
lot of
best.
Yeah, I mean,
All right.
I'm sorry.
Toss up 9. This character tasks you with getting some laxatives in a quest obtained from a bounty board, and once quips, "You lost me at instead of punching." This character gains an 8% resistance to explosive damage with his skill Cast Iron, and possesses many skills which reference movie titles such as Unbreakable, Die Hard, and Master Blaster. This character adopts the title Slab King after facing the repercussions for his murder of Shep Sanders. He wears the paw of his deceased dog Priscilla around his neck, and normally wields rocket launchers and explosives, unless he goes berserk and becomes a powerhouse in melee combat. For 10 points, name this unhinged maniac you can play in Borderlands.
Brick.
Yep.
Played
Okay.
some.
Toss up 10. 2 of these creatures have a climactic battle on a flying carpet over Saudi Arabia. In her first appearance, one of these creatures sends the protagonist off to fetch a replacement laptop battery. The first word uttered by the most famous one is pancakes. 2 members of this order are hypnotized by the appropriately named N-Trance in a 2003 game. A genetically engineered animal of this kind is aided by 5 elemental masks. Another one teams up with his evil nemesis in Twin Sanity, battles Uka Uka with his buff brother Crunch in Warped, and is the continual thorn in the side of Dr. Neocortex. For 10 points, the smart blonde Coco is part of what marsupial order?
Bandicoot.
Yes.
All right.
Came in late. I would have had some energy.
Okay.
Staying in there.
Toss-up 11. One section of the second game in this series contains grassy areas with well-hidden man-eating plants. Alpha, Beta, Gamma, and Delta receivers are needed in another of these games, which ends with the total defeat of the Deray's army. That game is a sci-fi adaptation of the second game in this series, which ends with the destruction of the Albatross Project and the firing of a bazooka into the escape chopper of Master D. The first game in this series, which was also the first game ever to feature a grappling gun.
Bionic Commando.
Yes, 10 points. Toss-up 12. One of these beings sings the song Nocturne after you idle on a chair for a while. A less useful being of this kind presses switches in the abandoned mine and cave. Japanese gamers were amused by the odd-looking Nose Devil one. One of these beings becomes more useful when it falls in love with the protagonist. Infinite money ensues after talking to the master librarian in the midst of a namesake brothers spell castable by another one of these. One of them automatically uses anti-venom if you're poisoned, and a potion if you're low on health. These beings include a bat, a ghost, a gigantic floating sword, and a fairy. For 10 points, name these beings summonable from cards. That's LCC.
No.
Too long, -5. I'll finish the question. Summonable from cards, which assist Alucard in Castlevania Symphony of the Night.
Familiars.
Yes. 10 points.
Nice job.
Toss-up 13. The rarest weapon in this game has a 3 out of 255 chance of dropping from a boss that only appears if the protagonist has less than 150 HP. Returning to already completed block puzzles in this game triggers a time attack mode called Evolve or Die. A hated part of this game is the maze within Snowfly Forest. In this game, the discovery of Kildian writings leads to the realization that its setting is Grand Grimoire. The protagonist of this game adopts the namesake title and wanders the world after bearing the blood sin on his back, after being implicated in the murder of Duke Bardorba, who himself kills cult leader Sidney Losterod. For 10 points, Leomond is the setting of what 2,000 square action RPG about...
Vagrant Story?
Yep.
I remember the Evolve or Die sections.
Okay. Oh god, I don't know if you guys get this one. Okay. Toss up 14. The best score in this game is -170,000. The narrator of this game is briefly usurped by a woman named Wilma before he shoots her a bunch of times and reclaims his position. Paul Mark Thresher offers a woman in this game $5 million to have sex near the end, where this game bifurcates one final time into a Hollywood ending and something
Plumbers don't wear ties.
15! Very good.
Wow.
That's
Wanna hear about
the
it
only
later?
3DO question I think we'll have.
I was waiting a little bit, but that's what
Okay. Toss up 15. This character dodges cars thrown by a T-Rex while piloting a helicopter in a surprisingly boring battle. Following a boss battle, this character escapes under the cover of smoke created by a pair of exploding sunglasses. This character is assisted in co-op mode by a man named Agent in her namesake campaign. She saves her ally from a T-00 shortly after learning from Annette Birkin that her boyfriend John Clemens is dead, and 6 years later is tasked with getting some plaga parasite in a Spanish village controlled by Los...
8 of 1.
Yes, 10 points. Thank you for saving me from the pronunciation.
Get my run, actually.
Toss up 16. One member of this faction can jump a great distance, dropping grenades along the way, with the Sky Leap ability. Another member of this faction, who defeats Kyrus and retrieves his sister's soul stone, is named Ronin. This faction imprisoned a demon inside a stone known as the Maledictum. Dancing swordsmen named Harlequins and a fighter craft called the Nightwing were added to this faction in the expansion packs Dark Crusade and Soulstorm. Farseer Maka leads this faction, which often transports Falcon Grav tanks, Warp Spiders, and other really weak but fast units through Webway gates in Dawn of War. Soulstorm introduced this race's dark counterpart. For 10 points, name these futuristic elves from Warhammer 40k.
Eldar?
Yeah, you're right for 10 points.
Nice job.
On the board.
Toss Up 17. This game contains a song that begins, tap the rhythm against the floor to look for another door. One level in this game places an impossible to reach extra life earlier than the bounce bracelet you need to obtain it. A fortune teller and a classroom are components of a kindergarten in this game for raising blue critters. This game introduces a female character who can use the drill drive while gliding, the heart-shaped breastplate wearing jewel thief Rouge the Bat. The Diary of Gerald leads Gerald's grandson, Dr. Robotnik, to search for a weapon that turns out to be Shadow in this game's dark mission.
I didn't know it was a game.
Sonic Adventure 2?
Yes.
Wow.
There we go.
I didn't know it was a game. Like I knew it was a game. I just. You gotta tread lightly. Yeah.
Okay, we have 3 questions left. Toss Up 18. One game in this series contains a very easy boss fight against a wheel of fire which spits out lines of fireballs. In a very bad game from the series, the protagonist replenishes his gauges by picking up power-ups shaped like L, P, S, and N, and thwarts a plot to launch a bunch of stolen plutonium. The protagonist's girlfriend is imprisoned behind wooden bars in the final boss fight against a hair-whipping enemy in one game in this series, whose second entry is known as Shadow Dancer. Is -5. Let me finish the question.
Yeah.
The protagonist of this series, who has a son named Hayate, frequently uses his devastating somersaults against members of the evil syndicate Zed.
Shinobi.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Toss Up 19. DJ Striker appears as DJ Atomica in this game, the best known to feature Paper Wings by Rise Against, whose opening song is Lazy Generation by the F-Ups.
Oh my God.
A pop culture-inspired premium content pack added the Kit, the General Lee, and the Ecto-1 to this game. The player of this game can earn accomplishments named Birth Trauma and Market Stalled, respectively, in its Riviera and Golden City stages. The Assassin Super is a fantastic car from this game. This game is best known for introducing a namesake mechanic that increases the boost meter for successfully causing opponents to crash, known as takedowns.
Burnout.
It's incorrect. -5. I'll finish the question. All right. For 10 points, name this game that was followed by Revenge and Paradise, the best in the Burnout series? Question mark? Maybe? And guess.
People are freaking out on that. I don't know.
Let me just let them take the.
There's no penalty for guess, but you're out of time. What was it?
Burnout 3 takedown.
Yes.
Yeah.
Would you have taken Burnout 3?
Burnout 3 is fine.
Which is the best game in the series.
I didn't write the question.
All right, we gotta get this.
All right.
Is this the
Toss
last one?
Up 20.
Yeah,
Here we
okay.
go. Last one. Chris Beddoes released a polished mod for this game which made teleporting easier and added a car. One character in this game wants your help in stopping a bank robbery, but if you dawdle too long, he'll just leave. 50,000 gold will buy you a ship in this game. Buying technical manuals at the university library in this game is the easier way to make found schematics. The Exiles Gorgoth, Krakatour, and the Bane of Kree may be recruited in this game's last level, the Void, in which you join or kill Kurgan. Virgil proclaims this game's protagonist the Living One after he or she survives the half-ogre attack on a Zeppelin. For 10 points, name this 2001 Troika Games RPG.
Arcam.
Yep.
Wow, nice.
That is the end of the game. Let's take a look at the final score.
Close, I think.
This is
I think you guys got it.
We got a lot of
15s.
negatives on that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See, 25, 35, 40, 90 points here. Over here we got 5, 10, 10, 20, 30, 40, 55, and 10, 75, 80.
80 to
Very
90.
close, 90 to 80. But you guys don't go anywhere because you're playing in the third place game. We have Bull Crew coming up to play for third place as well.
Who do I root for?
We're playing.
Oh, it's third place first?
Third place first.
Oh my gosh.
Third place game.
All right.
40 questions in a row.
Are you exhausted?
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Let's win a cup.
power
Big
of
real
it.
prize.
Yeah, this is the real
Oh boy.
show is here.
Go.
The big show.
Yes.
Okay, so stop the video and start